You said in London in 2012 that the age of entitlement is over. So what entitlements over the next 3 years will you stop or diminish?
Well, you'll have to wait for the 13th of May.
But you've had over 2 years to think about
Well,
it.
I'll give you an example. Well, one example is that we said it was unsustainable to keep handing out the school kids' bonus and the low-income allowance. Now, there are two payments that were funded by the mining tax, going to hundreds of thousands of Australians, but it was all borrowed money. Now, we have been trying to abolish school kids' bonus and low-income allowance, and as part of the package to get rid of the mining tax, we've been blocked in the Senate. Hopefully, common sense will prevail when the true state of the budget is dealt with on the 13th of May. But they're two significant payments go out to people that we can't afford anymore, and we've said we're abolishing them.
Okay, well, you're going to fund 4 of the next years of the Gonski school reforms. You're going to continue with Labour's disability scheme. You're going to give much more generous parental leave. And you've got a $1.5 billion slush fund for business to cut CO2 emissions. So I would suggest to you that the age of entitlement here in Australia is alive and well.
Well, certainly not compared with Britain. And the fact is, well, it's true. I mean, it's...
and if you were called George Osborne, I would be asking you about Britain.
Yeah, that's right.
But last time I looked, you called Joe Hockey. And much better looking than the British Chancellor.
But what's he is a good man.
What's the answer to my question?
We can't turn the ship around immediately overnight, but you will see that there is a clear sense of direction through policies that we announce on the 13th of May. And simply throwing a whole bunch of policies together and saying that represents entitlement is rather misleading.
You inherited a budget deficit of about 3% of GDP.
Yeah.
But you don't plan to balance the budget until 2024. It's not very ambitious.
Hang on. That's what we've inherited. Ease up.
So
that's what we've inherited.
So when will you balance the budget?
Well, you'll see. I mean,
but I won't be here by then. Just
you will
whisper it to me. You tried to imply that Australia was doing badly compared to other countries, for example, in the G20. Could you name any other G20 economy that has only a national debt of 23% of GDP, a 3% fiscal deficit, 3% growth, in its 22nd year of continuous growth, unemployment of less than 6%, a strong currency, and massive mineral resources?
Well, you're benchmarking us, as I do, against countries that are poorly performing. Our benchmark in Australia is to be the best in the world. That's what we were, and that's what we want to be.
But
now,
but my question was, could you name another G20 economy that could bring together all these assets?
No, but they didn't start in the position that we started.
But that's not my point. My point is that however you define Australia's performance compared to most of the G20, it's actually doing rather well.
I don't accept the basis of your question, which assumes that it's okay for us to underperform our benchmark. We have to be at our best. We've got to be able to compete.
But I'm talking about the G20.
Well, yeah, I know the G20. That includes, I chair it. I'm familiar with it, right?
Then if you chair it, I'll ask her a third time, and I maybe get an answer. Could you name me a G20 country that could bring all the, I'll read them out if you want again, all these economic assets together? Could you name me one?
No, and I tell you why. Because they did not start in the same blessed position that we started in 7 years ago. We had no net debt. We had 4% unemployment. We have enjoyed the best terms of trade in the history of our nation.
So you're not doing badly.
Hang on. And what's happened is that we have dropped the ball. We have dropped the ball over the last few years, and we have allowed ourselves to be compared with the laggards. We want to compare ourselves with the best.